What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Andy, and I have a 2023 Bronco Outer Banks with a 2.7 liter tow package and the Sasquatch package. And today we're going to be talking about SuperSprings SumoSprings for the application of towing. Now, when I was doing a bunch of research on this topic, there is not a lot of information out there, and especially not a lot of videos. So what I've decided to do is, for my application, is mostly for towing to increase comfortability, safety, and reliability, and just take a little bit of stress off the suspension, because that's obviously one of the weak points when it comes to towing for the Broncos, if you didn't already know. So after doing a bunch of research, I did come across SuperSprings. I did conversate with a gentleman over there by the name of Jesse, I believe. I apologize if I got that wrong, but super nice guy. Was super helpful, answered all my questions. They even expedited my shipping, which was really sweet. And I decided to try these out. And what we're gonna do in this video is my applications for towing. We don't do a ton of off-roading, and if we are, I'm not worried about articulation and all that stuff when it comes to adding these in. I know we're not gonna have any problems there. What I wanna do for my application is to just increase the comfortability and the reliability and reduce the wear on the suspension and the sag. So for those longer trips. So we've already done our first trip with the Aurora 16 BHX. It has a dry weight of 2,900 pounds. Our tow rating is 3,500 pounds with our configuration. And we also get the max gross vehicle weight rating. I've already done my weights at the cat scale. We are not anywhere near maxed out. However, do I still want to take any additional precautions that are monetarily or financially not out of question or out of reach? Yes, I do. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue to do that with anything that I can find revolving towing, because we're going to be towing, from time to time. We want to go out as much as we can, and I just want to have peace of mind. So anyways, for those of you who are like me, we're going to be not doing an install video, but rather just a comparison video. I got to take this. We just got back from Labor Day weekend. Like I said, we already took our first trip to Austin. Everything went amazingly. We didn't have any issues, no concerns. Everything was perfect. I do have the Blue Ox Pro Sway hitch. I did get the Kurt Echo brake controller, and I did fill up on premium gas for the entire trip, and everything was perfect. Those were all recommendations and things that I read online that would be helpful for towing, and everything went perfect. I know that I don't need these. However, I want them for additional reliability, safety, and comfortability, like I mentioned already. So we're gonna be putting these on. I'm actually gonna hitch up without them. We're gonna do a few measurements and just check out, the sag and whatnot. And then I'm gonna put them on, rehitch, and then we're gonna look at the differences. And then what I'm gonna do is, when I'm driving it back to storage, is I'm gonna compare how it feels and if I notice any differences. So that's what we're gonna cover in this video. Let's go. Alright, so there we are, all fully loaded up with the Blue Ox Pro Sway weight distribution hitch. This is what the squat looks like right now. We're going to measure it up from the floor to the wheel well so we can see the difference after we add the SuperSprings. About 38 inches and 3/4. So that's where we are with squat. Let's see if there's anywhere that I can get under there and show how compressed the springs are. Let's see. Alright. That doesn't look bad at all. That would explain why the ride is not too uncomfortable. Mind you, we did empty out the trailer to go put it away, but it's not more than about 250, maybe 300 pounds max difference versus how we have it set up here. But SumoSprings should go right there, touching that bump stock there, or that frame. And I'll go ahead and unhitch and install the SumoSprings and see what kind of difference we can spot and measure. All right, so I got it unhitched. Like I said, there's not going to be a tutorial install video. There's already 1 or 2 of those out there on the Bronco for these springs. I'm more addressing this from an application standpoint and a little bit of a as in-depth review as I can give. One thing I will mention though is it's recommended. It's not necessary to take off the wheels, but it's recommended for ease. I need to, quite frankly, hurry up, and if I can't get this install done in the first shot, I'm gonna have to do this another day. But I would like to do this before taking it back to storage today. That way I can get this out sooner. But to save some time, I'm gonna try to do it without taking the wheels off. And I will let you know how that goes. I'm not gonna show you how I do it because I don't have somebody to help me record, but I will update you if it actually was easy or if it was difficult, if I recommend taking off the wheels. So we'll go ahead and try to install them, we'll go from there. One thing I forgot to mention is one big reason why I'm doing this video is because there was a floating myth that this SumoSpring kit does not fit the Sasquatch package. So I understand where that comes from. If you're like only using it for off-roading, depending on your application, but with the load of this trailer, I fully expect, despite, I'm gonna be using both spacers as you can see here, despite the lift that I went under load and carrying the trailer, that it's fully going to touch the spring and compress. So just wanted to add that note. All right, so I know I said this wasn't an instructional video, and it still isn't, but just a piece of advice. I did do this without jacking it up. I did do it without taking out the tire. I am a bit of a smaller guy, so that was to my benefit. I won't even lie. But just a tip, when you get it through, it's nice with the Sasquatch package. There is space. There's about half an inch, maybe an inch here to the top. So I do have clearance. My recommendation to tighten the rear bolt is to come up and around the front of the tire and then hit the bolt from here. You'll get way more clearance and way more leverage. And then same thing with this one. You can either do it from here or from this direction. So either way, you won't have too hard of a time. What took me the longest was I couldn't find my right sized socket. So hopefully we can get this done before it gets dark on us. But I got the driver's side installed. Looks good. Looks like it's definitely gonna hit the frame there, so we should be good. Okay, so the passenger side one went a little bit more straightforward. All you have to do is move this wire bracket up and over this bracket for the SuperSpring, for the SumoSpring, and you'll be fine. And in the instructions it says that you shouldn't tighten this all the way so that you can move it according to where it needs to go. Right, so I'm gonna scoot it over. That looks like it's gonna touch perfectly there. So we got both sides on. It's getting a little dark, so let's try to hitch up and see what's going on here.
The sash ringing, the flash singing, the bash pinging,
the hash slinging slasher.
All right, so moved my other vehicle here to provide some light, but it's all set up now. We got the weight distribution hitch and we are on the SumoSprings. So let's go ahead and do a measurement. All right. So right now I'm measuring not a whole lot of difference in squat, maybe a couple tenths of an inch, but let's look underneath and see if the frame is actually hitting the SumoSpring. So let's do that. Let's check it out. All right. All right, so that would explain why there is no difference in squat. So I think to begin with, the squat that I have is definitely an appropriate amount of squat. We're like 1/10 of an inch away from touching right there, but I can already tell that upon bumps, inconsistencies on the road, and stuff like that, that they will more than likely be compressing and saving the springs from bottoming out. So let's go ahead and drive it for a day or two, then I can update here. But looking good. Let's check the other side. Also not touching. So that makes sense why there's pretty much no difference in squat. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this over to the storage. It's already late and it's raining and I'm soaking wet. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I'll probably do an update and some driving review. So we'll go from there. All right, so my afterthoughts right now are that I should have known they weren't gonna touch because I'm in a Sasquatch package, and that's what people have complained about, is that when they install them in the Sasquatch, it's not touching, so it's not providing a lot of support when you're unloaded. Now, I also have the trailer fully unloaded and the propane tank off the tongue, so that's why my squat wasn't super bad. However, for my next trip, they're already installed. When we load up, we should have some more squat. When we have the dogs in the back and everything and all the equipment, we will have some more squat. So they're more than likely to be touching at that point. But even right now, as we hit bumps, going down a road here that has a lot of inconsistencies, I can tell a difference on that dampering that the springs are providing. But I'm excited to see how much more difference I can see later once I do an update. Like that bump right there was just wicked smooth. So we'll do another update and a follow-up. I really feel like the true test is going to be our storage facility because they have the most uneven downhill path to our parking spot, which is absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, it's just not fun going down with the RV here. So let's see how it handles with SumoSprings. It's like unlevel on both sides. It's the absolute worst downgrade you could ever imagine for a trailer. Maybe not the worst, but just the worst for a storage facility. Like, you wouldn't expect this. And unfortunately, we signed up for a spot before coming down here with the trailer. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't have gone with this place. But so far, so good. We did have a drop-off last time that I did not enjoy. So let's see if we can avoid that this time. Okay, I think to avoid it, I'm gonna come a little bit to the left. Let's see how that goes. I could tell the SumoSprings are doing work. Yep. Actually, I think that's where the drop-off was, and there was not a drop-off this side. Let's see how this goes. Let's take it slow. This is the very end. If this does not drop off, I'm actually going to be wickedly impressed. It didn't. It didn't drop off. The SumoSprings actually definitely helped, and I can see how. I was actually thinking that I was going to need SumoSprings on the trailer as well, which may not be an awful idea, but that was perfect. That was so smooth. 100% a difference, because coming down that before, there would be a massive drop off that it was just not comfortable doing. I could feel it was pretty much bottoming out or something. So yeah, that was a huge help, I could tell. That was great. That was a great test. So something here worth noting, I'm home now with the trailer unattached, and just wanted to get the height without the trailer attached, without the squat, and we're at 39.5. So with the trailer hooked up, our squat was at 38 3/4, which is less than an inch, which was definitely an acceptable range. and would definitely be the reason why the SumoSprings were not touching even with the trailer hooked up. But mind you, that's fully unloaded without my girlfriend in the car, without the dogs in the car, and without the RV loaded up for camping and stuff. So we were just less than an inch with it unloaded, hitched up from touching the frame. And I know for sure that with those road bumps and inconsistencies that we were definitely hitting the springs, and it was helping a lot to dampen those hits and stuff. And then, like I showed in the video, with that downgrade, uneven, steep, it's uneven on both ends of the tires. So it probably puts a lot of strain on the axles, and definitely a lot of strain here on the Bronco. But I noticed a significant difference, and I know for sure that they were touching. So yeah, I'll probably try to get some videos of that and some more review footage, and we'll go from there.